This episode is brought to you by Burn, the fitness company behind the Today Show approved Burn board. If I'm being honest, working out can be a real chore, especially as a new dad in desperate need of sleep and cardio. Burn is founded by NEPA native Jimmy T. Martin, and his Burn board offers a low-impact core and cardio experience unlike anything I've done before. They have hundreds of on-demand workouts that are great for beginners, seasoned athletes, and out-of-shape podcast hosts who love supporting small businesses. My wife and I use it pretty frequently throughout the week, and it's honestly a great way to burn a ton of calories without burning a ton of cash. Not to mention, it's a great tool for skiers, runners, wrestlers, and hockey players. Jimmy is offering all On the Stacks listeners 15% off when they use the code STACKS15. Visit theburn.com today to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15 at checkout. Again, that's theburn, THEBRRN.com to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15. It's time to get on board today with Burn. This episode is brought to you by Blue Door Financial. Blue Door Financial will help you save money and reduce taxes to live a fuller financial life. To learn more, visit Blue Door Financial online at BLUdoorfinancial.com. That's BLUdoorfinancial.com.
Once I started seeing success and started getting like confidence in myself as, you know, a business owner and running a business and stuff, completely out the window. No chance I was going to law school after that.
Oh yeah, whoa, look, they can never keep me down, I'm going, and if I ever fail, just know I'll go again. I never quit, cause I know that every loss may lead to another win. I'm going up.
Hi, I'm Bill Corcoran Jr. This is the On the Stacks podcast. Today, I'm chatting with Ross Kleinman, entrepreneur and founder of the Kingswood Collection. What's up, podcast? Episode 113 of the On the Stacks podcast here in the Blue Door studio. Welcome to the show, Ross. How you doing?
Good, man. Super stoked to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, this is awesome. You're like right down the road.
Yeah, that was super.
New neighbor.
Dude, super close. When I was on my way over here, I didn't even realize it said like 3 minutes down the road. I was like, okay, that's perfect. Love that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so you're back in the area and you're doing some really cool things. You've been an entrepreneur for, well, geez, from what I understand, since you were 7 years old, buying and selling sports cards.
Yeah, no, when I was little, I don't even know how I got into it. Could have been a family member or something, but I just love sports cards. My mom used to take me to the all the shows up at the Wyoming Valley Mall, and I definitely got a sense for, you know, the entrepreneurial bug from that, you know, seeing and doing deals and all these other things. It was pretty eye-opening, and immediately I like fell in love with the whole concept of like, you know, selling things and buying things and having cool items and, you know, building collections of cool things and stuff like that. It's always been something that I love doing. So
sports cards, that was like your first thing.
Yeah, sports cards. I did like memorabilia too. I have some cool stuff, but yeah, no, I love doing sports cards. There's like, I don't know if it was like the graphic art or if it was, you know, because I was crazy about sports, but probably a combination of it all. But yeah, man, I loved it when I was younger.
So you are crazy about sports.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love sports. Yeah. For sure. So as you can see, I'm wearing a 1980 Olympic shirt. So yeah, no, big sports guy for sure.
Yeah. And you got the Eagles hat too.
The Eagles hat in the middle. Yeah. Hell yeah, you have to have it.
Yeah. All right, man. So 7 years old, you're selling sports cards. You know, take me a little bit. You know, let's kind of go through a little bit. Like what, you know, obviously throughout high school, I know you had mentioned to me previously in previous conversation that you had maybe one or two other little startups.
Yeah,
as a kid.
Yeah, for sure. So before Kingswood was created, we had a company called MKB with a couple of my buddies. And basically what we did was we would buy wholesale iPhone chargers from China, order them over here, like thousands of them. These boxes that would show up to my parents' garage would be massive. Like they definitely saw those, like, what is he doing? And we would sit down. It would be the like the cardboard packaging, the plastic, the chargers, everything separate. There was 4 of us. We would sit down and just start separating them, sold them on eBay, and it was great.
So you had to like repackage all of it?
Every single piece came separate from each other, and you literally had to, it was like the cardboard, you put everything in the plastic like holder, slide it in there, repackage it, put a little sticker on it. It's cool. I found one like a couple weeks ago. I have it framed in my room down in Philadelphia.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
So what, like, why did you do that? Like, why did you guys start that specifically? Like,
so one of our buddies was actually doing it and absolutely crushing it. He's one of the people, my buddy Mike Gallus. He's somebody who got me selling on eBay and doing things like that early on, year or two before Kingswood. But it's crazy because when we actually started Kingswood my junior year of high school, which was 2013, it was with Mike Gallus and my friend Roy Mullen. Everyone calls him Burns. The three of us started in Mike's basement, which is Kingswood Drive is where he lives. So that's where Kingswood's from.
The name.
Yeah, and we fell in love with it. Like the name was just perfect because we sat for like days. We were like, what are we going to name this thing? And everything we came up with was like, not good at all. Not good at all.
And it was right in front of you the whole time.
It was right in front of us the whole time. And it's perfect. Like Kingswood, the letters look cool together. It sounds good. Like we love it. Everything's perfect with it.
All right. So you're hustling chargers, selling things on eBay. Were you selling other things too, or just?
Primarily it was those chargers. The chargers were like really good for us. And there was like a lot of competition online with it. So we got to like learn little things, you know, going through that process and even like dealing with foreign manufacturers. I mean, I don't even know if we had our license yet, and we were, you know, ordering things from China and importing them and selling them here. It was pretty intense looking back on it. But yeah, no, we had a blast doing it too. We had so much fun.
And you guys just like figured this out on your own?
Yeah, we had some help from our buddy Mike. But yeah, no, basically we just started doing it and just kept going with it, and it was great. And then fast forward, I don't know, maybe 8 months, we started, you know, getting a little sick of it and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So we kind of dissolved it. But I continued to sell stuff online. So, you know, I would go up to the thrift stores and, you know, find different things I could flip or, you know, whatnot, clean out my closet 100 times, you know, things like that. And then fast forward to 2013, you know, me, Mike, and Rory are talking. We're like, okay, well, you know, let's pull together a couple shekels and, you know, see what we could do with it. Unfortunately, after a couple weeks, they got kind of sick of it, which I don't blame them. Listing stuff constantly on eBay and sending out packages is extremely tedious. It could be really annoying. So we figured out, you know, how much each person owed, you know, and then we separated from there. But I just kept doing it. Did it all throughout high school, throughout college. I would sell clothes on my room. You know, we'd have parties. People would come up and do shopping in the middle, or weekends we would have, you know, buddies bring their buddies over. It was a lot of fun.
Wow. All right. So you were down in Philly, right?
Down in Philly. I went to Temple. I was an entrepreneurship and innovation major. Most fun 4 years. Loved Temple. Absolutely loved Temple. The entrepreneurship program was great. Had a ton of super, super cool professors.
Yeah, tell me about it. So entrepreneurship and innovation, like what does all that mean?
So essentially a good chunk of the classes were idea generating, which I didn't think was the best way to go about teaching certain things, but they were great. I learned a lot of things from it. They ended up being, you know, really good. And then there was a lot of, you know, business organization stuff, startup stuff, how to raise money, how to talk to people, how to do certain things like that. So, you know, there was a lot of cool little skills, and I still stay in touch with some of my professors. It's awesome. Yeah, no, I was really glad with my experience at Temple.
Yeah. By the way, everyone's probably looking at this with this wonderful candle right now, which smells really good.
The blueberry pancake.
Yeah,
shout out to Corbett Candles. She whipped these up for us. We have a vanilla bourbon and a blueberry pancake. Hopefully going to be hitting our website sometime soon. By the time this comes out, they'll probably already be out.
Probably be sold out.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, no, I mean, we have the blueberry pancake going and it smells fantastic. The whole room right now, it's
the best it's ever smelled in here, I think.
Love that. Yeah. I mean, I don't have any reference for it, but yeah. This thing,
not that it smelled bad.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
But that just smells so good. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, no, she does amazing work. She does like candles and, you know, repurposed cans and jars and different things, and really crushed it. Plus, I love supporting any friend and any small business like that. You know, that's awesome.
Yeah,
we try and do as much work with, you know, certain friends that, you know, do certain things. We have this one buddy, Jack McGrath. He goes by Gator. He does art. We just put like 10 pieces up.
I just saw you posting stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's awesome. The colors, the designs, everything. He's just like an extremely, extremely talented artist. So we try to, you know, bring a lot of cool things together like that, you know, utilize our friends.
Super cool.
Definitely.
All right. So you're down there in Philly. You started the Kingswood thing.
Before that. Yeah. So I went into college having Kingswood. I've had a ton of help from my buddies throughout, but yeah, no, I would be studying for a test and then packaging up, you know, t-shirts and send them out.
So that's what you did. So you did the school, and then you're doing Kingswood evenings.
And then yes, yeah, definitely. My college schedule was always, I like set up so I could sleep in. And then basically what I would do was I would, have my classes, come back, do whatever work I had to do, an hour or two of Kingswood stuff, and then, go meet up with friends or whatever. I'm done. And finding that balance was definitely super, super tough, especially with so many, distractions in college and stuff like that. But I enjoy what I do, so it's fun. It's not like it was work. I'm not doing. Exactly.
Plus, you're making a couple bucks.
Making a couple bucks for sure. Yeah, no, we were living all right in college. Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. All right, so like, what exactly is Kingswood?
Okay, so Kingswood Collection is essentially my curation of vintage clothes, art, furniture, vinyl records, basically anything that we find cool. So, even posters. And a lot of it's, based around sports, music, certain things that I've loved forever. So I kind of combine, my love of history and music and movies and everything and design into this this teepee that we sell all, we sell all these cool things, and we hold all these, different kind of collaborations, and we just do a lot of cool different, different stuff. But at our core, we sell vintage clothes. That's what we do. We sell vintage clothes.
So where do you get this stuff?
So that's always the question everybody asks. So basically, after doing it for so long, I've been doing this since early high school. Even before Kingswood was started, I would, collecting clothes and stuff. So over the years, we've developed, a bunch of different routes and stuff that we do it. At first, it was just going straight to thrift stores and, finding cool things on the racks or whatnot. A lot of, hunting on eBay late night, a lot of, storage units, just like anything we could find that might be elite. It's like a treasure hunt. It's super fun. No, the
full-time treasure
hunt. The hunt to find everything is super, super fun. Yeah, it's like I'm a Nick Cage in National why can't I think of it? National Treasure.
National Treasure.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So all right, so do you got any crazy stories? Like you mentioned like storage units and like just going anywhere and everywhere, like.
So basically from I've been in Philly the past 7 years. I'm still in Philly. I live between Philly and here. But basically from, doing it so much in Philly, I've seen some crazy, crazy things. Some like drug paraphernalia, different things that, you don't want to, be feeling in the pockets. And
some sketchy things.
Yeah, exactly. Seen fights in thrift stores. I've been in neighborhoods that were, pretty tough, but it was, everything's awesome. The whole hunt, it's fun. It's fun. I really, really enjoy it. And I'm super stoked that I get to do it as a job,
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah,
definitely.
Did you think that you'd be doing this?
I always thought I was going to be a lawyer. I come from a family with a bunch of lawyers, and I was, until maybe, mid high school, end of high school, I thought eventually I'd, make my way to it. But once I started seeing success and started getting like confidence in myself as, a business owner and running a business and stuff, completely out the window. No chance I was going to law school after that. Plus I watched my sister study and go through, law school prep and the LSATs and everything. And that was also a big no way.
And you said, screw that.
Absolutely. There is no way in hell that I am going to be doing that. So shout out to her for going through that and letting me, watch her and know that was not for me.
Yeah. She was like the guinea pig.
No, exactly.
For you to figure yourself out.
Exactly. And she crushes it too.
Yeah. All right. So you decide lawyer thing's not for me.
Not for me. No.
And
not for me.
And like, at what point did you realize like, hey, like this is like, I'm going to really do this?
Early in college, we had one Black Friday / Christmas season that I couldn't keep up with orders. I couldn't keep inventory and fast enough. And I started getting things would sell at prices that I was a little in awe that they would sell at. So then I started saying, okay, well, I think this might be a real thing. So my game plan was continue through college. As long as I enjoy it, I'm still doing well in school, and it continues to grow, then we'll see what happens with it. And luckily everything continued to grow. Everything went smooth. And when I graduated college, I knew exactly I'm continuing, not even looking for a job, nothing.
That was it. You just knew.
That was it. No, I absolutely knew that's what I was going to do.
So all right. So give me an example. So you said, some items selling for maybe more than you anticipated. Like, give me an example. Like, what was the item? And like, just give me any random example.
For sure. So early on, I had these old Jordan 1s, and at one time they were a couple $100, maybe around $1,000. So we had one laying around. one Christmas season, I decided to take it off my shelf. I used it as a display. It was a pretty cool display in my room. And we auctioned it and went for like double what I thought it was going to go for. And then we had a couple of t-shirts around that Christmas season too that sold for way more, because we would put them in eBay auctions, you know, certain things that I didn't know exactly how to price, because you don't want to overprice and have, you know, people look at him and be like, oh, this guy's, you know, charging an arm and a leg. And you don't want to underprice, because then, you know, you might miss out on, you know. So basically for things like that early on, before we really got pricing down, we would just put them in eBay auctions. And that last 15 minutes, we would sit around and watch things go, and a blast.
That's
absolutely
crazy.
Fun. Yeah, no, so we realized that it was definitely a possibility. And even certain things that were, you know, just old Penn State crew necks, which is something we always have, or old Notre Dame sweatshirts, or, you know, things of that sort, Eagle stuff, that slowly started to get more attention. You slowly, because one of the big things with selling vintage clothes is essentially you're selling pre-owned clothes. So you get the what do you mean you're selling used clothing sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And then throughout the years, it's really, really mellowed down, and people are really starting to bite it. Because there's always been vintage clothes, you know? If you watch Seinfeld, there's an episode where they're selling, you know, his old cabana wear. But basically,
Yeah.
like, you know, it's been around forever. Even in the 60s and 70s, you could, you know, find a vintage store and they would sell, you know, colonial stuff or whatnot. So it's always been a thing, but it's just, I think now people are starting to catch on, especially all the environmental benefits that comes with it. And, you know, people are really, really into that right now. So there's just a lot of things that, you know, really make it appealing and is growing, you know, our customer base and people that are into it, and like the community as a whole, which has been, because I've been doing this forever, but it's been really, really cool to see, you know, all the growth and everything.
Yeah. So how old are you?
I'm 25.
And how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing it since I'd say like 2011 or so. So, I mean, and before that, sports cards. So I'd say I was, you know, I've been doing business since
Your
7
whole
or 8.
life.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Wow. All right. So you sell online. Like, where specifically do you sell?
So basically,
Besides eBay.
Yeah, so it's eBay. We have our website, kingswoodcollection.com. And then we also have a really big following on Depop. And for people who don't know what Depop is, essentially it's, you know, an eBay, Etsy, Poshmark kind of collaboration, but it's only for clothes. And it's basically has a younger audience for it. And so they were UK based until, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we started using it. And we've just grown with their platform. Fast forward today, they just got bought by Etsy for a couple $2 billion. And we have it, since we have a huge following, the people of Depop have taken care of us super well. They promote us. They if there's any sort of issue, they get back to me in 10 minutes. They're awesome. So we've been using that for years. And in the future, we're trying to get more into our website a bit more, because a lot of our traffic and everything comes through Depop. But it leads from Depop to our website, right? So if we have an order on Depop, we'll include some stickers or a business card or something, and then I'll either have our website or Instagram, so it'll flow into that sort of. But yeah, no, Depop has been awesome for us. We love it.
You just moved in just recently into a
Right.
space on Pennsylvania Ave here in
Absolutely.
Wilkes-Barre. So tell me how that came about, and why did you move the operation to where you did?
Okay, cool. Yeah. So basically, I have been wanting to make some sort of move with Kingswood in terms of a storefront or some sort of warehouse or facility for a long time. And basically, from being in the area for so long and my family being here for so long, there's so many. Doing things around here is so much easier, and, you know, networking is so much easier because you already know so many people, and the people, you know, you don't know, they know the people that you do know. Everybody knows each
Yeah.
other around here. So it's so nice to be able to, you know, work with everybody and do certain things. And although, you know, you could absolutely do that in Philly, it's just a little bit, for me, it was a little bit easier here. So basically, we got the idea that, hey, maybe we won't do a store in Philly. Maybe we'll, you know, do some
So
sort
you
of.
thought about doing a store
For
in Philly?
For a long time, we looked at a ton of places. I live in Manayunk, which is the Hoboken of Philadelphia, essentially. So we looked at a few places around there, and then COVID hit, and a few businesses, you know, started to go under. So when those places became available, we started looking more seriously. We went as far as we signed a few letters of intent to certain places and ended up following through, which turned out to be a blessing.
Yeah,
But
totally.
we were super close to doing something in Philly. I come back here to look at a warehouse space, and the guy who was showing me it was like, hey, I have this other place you might be interested in. So I was like, okay, for sure. So we go and look at it. As soon as I walk in, I was like, this is absolutely it. The old home of Axelrad. So they're, the coolest printing, t-shirt, everything around. And so being able to work with them and have them sort of as like the big brother to us early on has been super awesome. Plus the building is just incredible. The character it has from being, over 100 years old, a lot of the original floorboards and the ceiling panels and there certain things like that. Like the character of it's incredible. It's such an awesome building. In the back, there's a few of the original like big wooden doors and stuff too. So it's super cool. And it just goes so well with what we do.
It is cool.
Yeah, no, it's such an awesome building.
Yeah, and I've been there. For Ross and I actually, we didn't even meet until like a couple months ago.
Right, yeah.
And shout out to Mark Dixon, by the way.
Shout out to Mark Dixon, yeah.
Mark Dixon is the one that introduced us.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I came by and I knew, I've been in that building before when it was previously Axelrad,
right.
But no, it was
looks
cool.
completely different.
It looks completely
different. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was cool to to see your space and get a tour and like ground level, like it's cool to see, like, and you were telling me a lot of the future plans of the building. Can you share some of that now?
Yeah, no, definitely. So the one thing that we noticed as soon as we started moving back here, and when I say we, it's my buddy Connor McCarty works with me full time. Our friend Jackie Muser works with us too, who they both absolutely crushed it, and I could never have done what we've accomplished in the last 2 or 3 months that we've been in there without them. They've been an absolute blessing to me, and I couldn't thank them enough. But so the one thing we noticed is that in the area there kind of lacks a sort of fluidity with a lot of like the cooler and the creatives and certain things that don't get the limelight or don't have the money for the big storefronts. So one of the big things we want to do, since we have such a massive space, we have close to 10,000 square feet and then outside spaces. So the one thing we want to do is start hosting events where basically, we could bring all of these cool people from the area into one place and kind of create, a sort of community and more of like a fluidity between, all of these things. The 900 building does an absolute stellar job at doing that. So we're kind of using that as like a blueprint sort of thing. So we have in our warehouse, because we have such a massive space, we're renting out a part of it to one of my closest friends, Josh Snell. And what he does
What's up, Josh?
Save the wave. Josh is one of the coolest people ever, and having him like helping us and being in there with us has been also an absolute blessing. So like just everything getting set up has been awesome. All these events that we want to do to bring all these people together are going to be super cool. There's a space we eventually want to try and start throwing concerts and just like things that we could, bring people in one place, that's not a bar or, something like that, something where, local artists could show off their things, or people who, make furniture or whatnot, just like ways that people who do either side projects or smaller things like that could like come together, and there could be more of like, a community with everybody around here.
So speaking of like of the area, like what is your vision for, say like Wilkes-Barre? I know you and I have talked about this only like once or twice prior to coming on here, but you mentioned a couple things, and I want you to give your take on like the what's up and coming just in the area in general.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We have been a huge advocate. Almost everybody I talk to who is asking about Kingswood, we get into this. Basically, I think that there's so much potential for this area to have so many cool things and to do so many more unique things that cities do, cities like Philadelphia and things like that do. And like I said before, there's already tons and tons of cool things around here, but just like the lack of everything coming together kind of, diminishes it and doesn't really create as, enough of a community where like everybody could, use each other to thrive sort of. So there's a lot of cool things we want to do. One of the things I've always wanted to do is always open up a restaurant. I always want to do things with cars. So basically with Kingswood, at our core, we buy and resell things. So with that, we could essentially go in any way we want. For now, definitely we're sticking with vintage clothes and art and furniture and posters and all that fun stuff. But there's definitely a bunch of different, different things we want to get into. There's some super cool historical buildings around here I've always wanted to do cool things with since I was a kid, driving in, backseat of my mom's car, looking at everything. So there's a lot of things in the area that I think could, like I said, with a little bit of fluidity and everything, the area could be pretty cool.
Yeah. And so did you get like some ideas or things like, or was there stuff that you did down in Philadelphia, like in Manioc, that like either events or just, experiences that you had there? Like, was there some ideas that you took from there that you want to implement here?
Absolutely. I mean, at the core, whenever we did sort of pop-ups, I had a buddy who would set up a bunch of them. And just, like I said, bringing different people together into one place and, having, common things to share with each other, really goes a long way. And, the absence of that, kind of creates, that it has all these, people who, if they're doing things together, it could be incredible. And, not having that and just having them, stand on their own, it's hard. It's really hard. So basically, we just want to, bring it all together and, help other, smaller, cooler people do their thing on a bigger scale and get it to more people and, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So,
sure.
Obviously you grew up in this area, but like, what's your favorite thing about the area?
Oh, Harvey's Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, my family has a place out there. I've been going since I was little. When I'm home and not in Philly, I'll stay out there or my parents' house, but mainly out there. Waking up and looking at the lake is one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So you still have the place in Philly?
I do. I live in Manioc part-time and up here part-time.
Nice.
Yeah, I love Manioc, but
yeah,
I love it up here too.
Yeah.
I love it up here
It
too.
is a cool vibe. I've been there a handful of times.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. It's super
Yeah,
cool. Yeah,
it is.
definitely.
Yeah, it's got like a really like tight-knit community type
Absolutely.
feel.
Absolutely.
And that's like what you're trying to bring here.
Exactly. Yeah, no, definitely. It's, all these, different people, but they share something and there's somewhere for them to go or a way for all of them to connect easier. That's what big cities do best, is they have all these different opportunities to bring people together and create all these communities, which, we have here to an extent, but not as good as it should be.
We just need people like you to make it happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, for sure. We're trying our best out here, and everybody who we've talked to and everybody we've been reaching out to is all on board with it, and everybody's super enthusiastic about it, which is, nothing but awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
I love what you're doing, and like, and it was really cool to see you move into the building where you're at, because like I know like when Axelrad moved, I always I thought to myself until
Let's
I saw
go in there.
Yeah,
Let's go in there.
Let's go there. Who's
I've heard
going
that
there?
before. Yeah, no,
You probably heard that a million times.
100 times. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like I said, it is an incredible place. All the little details and everything are super, super cool.
It is cool.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
awesome. It's like a piece of history here.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the building was built in like 1919, 1918, something
Crazy.
around then. 100 years old. It's still standing.
Yeah.
Like I said,
solid.
Some of the floorboards are original too, so you'll see the square nails and certain things like that, and it's awesome. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So what else are you doing with the space? You mentioned like artwork and furniture too.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
what else are you doing?
So aside from clothes and everything, we do furniture. We try and bring it back to life without painting it a completely different color. We'll do super small things to it, and we've just been Facebook marketplacing it, doing that. We do vinyls. We have a crazy collection of vinyls. We do a lot of cool art with artists that are friends with us, local people, a lot of cool stuff. There's a local artist, Lucy Shimo, we're doing a lot of work with, and she's just like spectacular. She's so cool, and all of her work is incredible. So yeah, so like as many friends that we could bring together, as many cool creative people that we could bring together to, create this, super cool thing it's awesome for us.
Yeah. So like, why entrepreneurship for you? Like, what is it about entrepreneurship that you just really enjoy?
I look at it like a game, sort of. It's like you're playing Monopoly, but in real life. There's
Yeah.
If you go bankrupt, you could buy Broadway. There's a lot of fun things that you could do with it. There's so many different paths you could take, and there's so many different life experiences and things that I've learned that if I was doing a desk job, I never would have known, never would have had to experience. I never, essentially, the whole experience of, just doing all of it is just so much fun. I have a blast doing it. There's no days where I wake up and I'm like, hey, I don't want to go into work today. Every day I wake up and I'm like, all right, what are we going to do today?
Yeah.
It's super fun.
So what's a typical day look like for you?
Typical day, we get into the warehouse. We kind of take a look at what's sold overnight, what kind of packages we have to ship out. So we'll get that done. Then we'll start, picking new items to put on the website and on our eBay and on our Depop. And we'll kind of, curate them with, certain pieces and do certain fun things with them. And then, we'll just hang out a lot of the time during the day and, get our work done.
You got the couches there?
We got the couches. We got the TV.
Yeah.
We'll throw on some Netflix, just sit back and get work done on our computers and stuff. So it's a very relaxed work environment for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very chill spot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So now can somebody come there? Like, can people come?
So we were thinking about at some point doing a store, but for now we're online only. Aside from the events that we do and, certain open houses and things like that. But yeah, no, for right now, we're not open to the public on a day-to-day basis. There may be a point in the future that we do something like that, whether it's up here in Philly or whatever we decide to do. But for the time being, strictly online. But we are planning a ton of cool events for the summer, so that's going to be super, super fun.
Any can you share any of that now, or is this kind of still under wraps?
No, definitely. A couple weeks from now, we're going to do a sort of open house flea market kind of thing. We're just going to bring in a couple different vendors, maybe 5 or 6 different ones. That's going to be a secret until we pick how we're going to do that. And then hopefully get some cool food trucks or some sort of cool drinks. And basically, like I said, just create a sort of environment where somebody, they could come hang for a couple hours, do some shopping, meet new people, see things in the area that, you typically wouldn't see on, you go up to the mall or something like that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, all right. So kind of back to the entrepreneurship stuff, a little bit.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
You touched on it a little bit earlier, of the grind and the hustle of all the stuff that you do behind the scenes, and it can kind of be monotonous and
absolutely.
And so talk about that a little bit. How do you
for sure. So
how do you manage to do it?
I mean, at our what we do is we resell items, and for the most part they're recycled items, or they've been clothes that have been sitting in a basement for years. So first off and foremost is we have to bring them back to life. A lot of times they're riddled with stains or there are rips. So we'll, take all of our, new inventory, we'll analyze it, see what we have to do with it. A lot of the times they have to do some sort of stain removal or, something like that. So we'll get into that. And then as soon as that's done, we start prepping it to be pictured and, put into our systems and everything. And at that point, it gets put on the website or our Depop or eBay or whatnot. And it's there for the world.
And you do all this stuff yourself? Along
with Connor and Jackie. Yeah. But yeah, no, there's a lot to it, even, doing packages one by one, putting things into the inventory system. Cause most retail stores, they get a shirt in, they get, 50 of them. We have, a 1980s Larry Bird t-shirt, we only have one of them. So every item, is usually a once off in the inventory system. So there's a lot of, bookkeeping that you would never realize. And
yeah. Wow.
Yeah. A lot of things like that, it creates a lot of, extra work, obviously, but it also helps you, kind of dissect your company a little bit and find different things that you might just, you might miss on the surface. So, as tedious as it is, and as much as I wish I didn't have to do certain things like that, getting into, the nitty gritty of everything is how, we figured out a lot of things that we could do better, certain items we should carry more of, or, certain sports teams that sell better than other sports teams. And, without that, there's 100 people, out there who do what we do. You have to separate, we had to figure out different ways that we, differentiate from our competition.
Yeah. So what else, have you learned along the way, as a young business owner, young entrepreneur, what other things have you learned or figured out, or things that maybe you said, oh, that didn't work?
Patience is definitely, because I'll get a new piece of inventory in and I'll post it and I'll think I'm gonna get 100 likes on it and it's gonna sell in 2 seconds and it ends up sitting on the rack for 2 months. or, you know, you deal with a customer who wants to return something for some, you know, reason, they're not being super cool, you know, there's all these little things that, you know, it's definitely frustrating. But as you do them more and more, you start to get, you know how to talk to people to sort of diffuse, you know, an angry customer. Not that we have many of them, but, you know, there are definitely things like that happen. Or, you know, we'll have issues with the post office losing a package or things like that. So dealing with things like that, over time, you figure out how to do them better and how to figure out, you know, problems better. But you definitely face things that, you know, you would never expect, or, you know, you would never think about.
Also, like with the whole entrepreneurship thing, like, you know, you gotta be, you know, I know you probably know this, but like you probably gotta be super lean, you know, to be able to like make ends meet and pay the bills and all that stuff. Like, what was that like for you, like when you first like went out and started this, like after college?
So fortunately, since we were going through college, I really didn't have that period, thankfully. But there's definitely been times where, you know, sales weren't doing too hot, and, you know, maybe I wasn't going, you know, out for, you know, a steak that night, you know, we were going to get a burger instead, sort of thing. But yeah, no, there's definitely been a few times where we had to, you know, or I had to, because before we made the move back up from Philly, I ran the company as a sole proprietor. So I brought on a few of my friends as investors. My friend Asa Seidman, Pierce Jaswinski, Jesse Good. We have Connor has a piece of the company, and then our friend Sammy Parenti. And, you know, all of us working together, you know, we do some cool work, and having all my friends who have these, you know, they each have their own respective cool background, and have them giving me advice on certain things and stuff like that has been really cool.
Yeah, so you got more people involved in this than I thought.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, no, I tried to surround myself with as many people who could bring things to the table that I might not thrive in, essentially. And it just so happens that I have some incredible friends who are super talented at what they do. And they've been super enthusiastic about everything, and the counsel and just help and advice that I've gotten from everybody, it's been incredible. And like I said, Connor and Jackie have made this process for me, and, you know, getting set up and, you know, getting comfortable in there significantly easier. I would never be able to do them without everybody helping me.
Yeah,
no chance.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
All right, so going back to like some of the items you said, like, you know, some of like the higher ticket items, like what's like the craziest thing that you guys have ever sold? Like,
oh, that's a good one. I could list some. So right now we have a Pulp Fiction jacket that was given out to the cast and crew. That's a pretty cool one. We had this X Games jacket from like 2000 that there was only like 15 of them, and it was only given to certain athletes. We like a lot of the mid 80s stuff, so like, you know, Larry Bird stuff, Magic Johnson stuff, things from that era. Honestly, any sort of like old sports stuff, old movie stuff, things like that are things that like we really, really like. Old car stuff we love, you know, old Porsche stuff or Mercedes stuff, all of that sort of old promotional gear and like different merchandise that you would be like, why is Mercedes making a sweatshirt? 30 years later, thank God they did, because there's some pretty cool sweatshirts.
Yeah, and you're selling them.
Yeah, for sure. And we're selling them. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. So like, what else? Like, what you said like sports is probably like they're like the top.
Absolutely.
Selling.
Band t-shirts are super, super huge too. Anything like having to deal with like a movie or honestly, like any sort of brand, all of their stuff is crazy. We're huge fans of old Nike stuff, old Ralph Lauren stuff, old Adidas stuff, all of these sorts of things, you know, all these different pieces, they tell a story. For the most part, you know, they're 30, 25, 40-year-old, you know, pieces of clothing, and the fact that, you know, you could still wear them and all these sorts of things, it kind of, you know, gives you a sort of connection, you know, with the times before, which is super cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So what do you got on now? You got
So right now it's a 1980 Lake Placid Olympic shirt, the Miracle on Ice Olympics. Huge fan of that Olympics. A couple years ago, we started buying a ton of the stuff. We have a massive, crazy collection
of Olympic stuff.
Specifically 1980. We love the 1980 Miracle on Ice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, no, a lot of, and just there's tons of cool stories and little things from that Olympics. So, so we pick certain things like that and just like go crazy and buy tons of stuff for it.
Do you know that like there's a market for this stuff like before you buy and sell it?
So a lot of the things that we sell, you sort of. So basically you go into a department store, you know, they kind of, you know, they have what you're looking for, right? When you come and like browse our website or you're on like our Depop page or something, a lot of the things, you know, you didn't even know existed. So we find things that we could present in like a cool way, you know, certain things that like for the most part, I think is cool, or, my buddies or whatever would think were cool. And a lot of the times it's, things that aren't in stores, or even, a lot of like vintage stores. There are certain things that we could find in certain genres that, haven't been tapped into yet and things like that. And the 1980 Olympics was one that we definitely saw. Was, it has tons of cool notoriety behind it. There are awesome stories. The logo is incredible.
Yeah,
the logo,
yeah.
they killed it that year. And there's just so many cool things. So it's, you go online, you start looking up t-shirts, and you're like, hey, that one's only $15. That thing's probably worth 50 or 60 bucks. Why is that so cheap? So you buy it, you wash it. If there's a stain in it, you get it out, and you present it in a way that, shows the customers something that they didn't know that they wanted. And it's a super fun thing.
That's interesting.
It's a super fun thing.
So it's something that customers didn't know that they wanted.
It's something they didn't know that they wanted. You're going into Target for the most part. You know what you're going in there for. They might show you certain things that you didn't want it, especially Target. But no, I mean, because where else are you going and finding a 30-year-old Pulp Fiction jacket? So it's certain things, it's things that people aren't going online and searching for necessarily. So we have to figure out a way to present it so that they're like, oh, I've never seen that before. I want that.
Yeah. So when they're on your website and they're buying something else, but then over here they're like, oh, what's that?
Exactly. And when we have people in person, because we'll do in-person appointments and, like I said, a lot of events and stuff. So when we have people in person shopping, it's for a lot of the times it's, oh my goodness, or I've never seen anything like that before, or hey, come here, come look at this thing. And a lot of that, and that's what does it for me. I love that. That's like my favorite thing, seeing people see something they've never seen before and being like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, like where'd you get that?
Yeah, and then they end up wearing it out of there, and for the most part our prices are cheaper than any department store. And it's something super cool, it's things you never find. I mean, you could go to a store and, find an Eagles hat like this, tons of them. But this one's from, 1990, 1991. Nobody's ever worn it. It's brand new. It's certain things that you just can't find in stores. And it's things that we love too. An old Eagles hat, like, that's right. That's me. That's perfect. So a lot of what we carry is a reflection of things that I think is cool for sure. But we'll also have certain items that, go along with the market and what like other people, are looking for and other stores are selling and things of that sort. But for the most part, what we really love to do is find items that other people definitely don't have, and we get to kind of present it in our own way. That's what we really have a good time doing.
Yeah. And so, like when you said like this hat is new and it's from like 1990, like how do you find stuff that old that's brand new?
Some guy who owned a store thankfully never threw out the old box in his basement. He passed away and his kid put them online or something like that. There's all these different things that happen and things fall into your lap, and somebody tells somebody they got to give you a call and tell them about the things they found in their uncle's basement, things like that.
And you show up, right?
And we show up as soon as we can, for sure. A lot of, even like Facebook marketplaces, we'll find like a cool item and we'll say, hey, do you have anything else? Do you have any friends or family?
Show me your basement.
Exactly. And for the most part, as long as you're nice to people and treat people with respect, they'll help you out. And if we're taking things out of their basement, they love that too.
Yeah, you're doing them a favor.
Exactly. Yeah, we're cleaning them out.
Clearing out their attic, their basements.
Yeah, and then for the most part, these people, a lot of the people don't realize that what they have is, worth money. They're
that's
like,
valuable. Yeah.
My husband's old NASCAR hats from the 90s that's been in our closet since. What do you mean they're worth something? So we'll go and we'll set up a buy and we'll set up an appointment to purchase things from certain people, and then we end up paying them more than they were expecting. Because
they were probably just either going to throw them out or take them to like a Salvation Army or something, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And when we come in, we're like, yeah, we're going to give you $20 for that old hat you have. They're like,
wait, what?
Really? Yeah. And that is always super, super cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something we really like doing.
That's awesome. So, all right, man. So like what else? How can our listeners connect with you online?
Yeah. Basically you could go on Depop and, we are at Kingswood on there. Essentially every platform is a variation of Kingswood. So our website is Kingswood Collection, which is also our Instagram. Depop is just Kingswood. And on eBay, we're just Kingswood as well. So we have all of our stuff on our website, on our Depop. There's tons of different ways. If you're in the area and reach out to us, you could do an in-person appointment. But yeah, no, basically through our Depop and our website are probably the best two ways.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And you guys will probably keep people updated on your social media with some of the things you're doing this summer.
Yeah, absolutely. As we start getting definite dates and certain things like that for, events and certain things we want to do, we're gonna be blasting them everywhere. We're gonna really try and get as many people to come together and make these little events or whatever we decide to do super, super fun and beneficial for everybody, and hopefully help a lot of cool smaller businesses find new clients and meet new people and things like that.
Yeah, no, it's really cool, man. I really appreciate what you're doing, like for the area and for other people, and it's just it's a cool thing.
Yeah, definitely. And we're having so much fun doing it. And everybody who's come over and seen the place and didn't necessarily know exactly what Kingswood was, it's been awesome. Everybody's loved it, and we're just having such a great time acclimating back into the area.
Yeah. Well, man, this is awesome. It's so cool what you're doing, and like I said, when I came and I got you gave me the tour, like it was cool. Like it was a fun vibe. There were some people in there, and it was just really neat to see. Like, it was neat to see this from like not ground up, but like the new facility.
Oh, absolutely.
From the ground up.
Yeah, no, I mean, essentially we're starting fresh. We had to buy all new, display fixtures and, tables and everything. So basically we're ground up as soon as we moved here. And it's been really cool, piecing everything together and, finding certain things around, different pieces of furniture that we could use for certain things. There's a ton of cool places around here you could find things like that. And it just goes along with the treasure hunt. We have so much fun doing it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Super cool, man. Well, I wish you the best of luck. And
thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and we'll be seeing each other soon, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Ross Kleinman on the Stacks podcast in the Blue Door Studio. Thanks for joining me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, man.
If you want to see more On the Stacks content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/onthestackspodcast or search the hashtag #OnTheStacks on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. We'll catch you next time on The Stacks.